Here's the harsh truth. The reason you and I are still small creators is that we're betting on luck. We think that if we just keep uploading or that if we work harder that the algorithm will eventually pick us. But hard work is not enough. This is the proven framework that big creators use to blow up. So we're going to find the audience, we're going to verify the demand, we're going to create a title that's worth clicking every time, and we're going to prove the idea is solid before you even press record. When a viewer sees a name that they don't recognize, they don't care about the creator yet. They aren't clicking for your personality yet. And they definitely don't care about a passion project. They only care about what can be done for them. So they care about their boredom, they care about their problems. So we need to build phase one, which is the foundation. Now, look, plenty of people win by accident. I understand. They blow up because of a lucky trend, maybe a massive personality that they have, or they're just being at the right place at the right time. I mean, that is an exception, though. You don't want that to happen by accident every single time. At least I don't. I don't want to waste any time. But a reliable business cannot be built on an accident. I mean, we aren't here to gamble, we're here to build a system. So, broad appeal is not the goal yet. You need to get specific first. So, what does that mean? So, the algorithm is an efficiency machine. So, its goal is to put a video in front of the people most likely to watch it. So if the topics are too broad, the machine is handed a mess of data because it can't figure out what the correlation between the viewers is. So one person watches editing, the other one watches gaming, the other one watches advice. Because there's no shared interest between those people, the machine can't find a pattern. And if it can't find a pattern, it can't reliably predict who the next 10,000 viewers are. The most reliable way to scale is to give the machine, aka the algorithm, a clean signal. A specific viewer profile is needed so that the machine can find 10,000 more people with those same interests. The viewer profile is defined through three specific lenses. So number one is demographics. So the basics. Define their age, their gender, their geographical location, their income, and their occupation. And then the critical variable here is experience level. Are they a beginner? Do they need a roadmap? Are they an expert? Do they need nuance? Can a creator speak to both? Eventually, yes. But right now, it's going to create a divided room. So I want you to think of it like this. You're trying to teach a classroom where half the students are first graders and the other half are math professors. So if you spend 5 minutes explaining that 2 plus 2 equals 4, the professors are going to get bored and they're going to walk out. And if you switch to advanced calculus, the first graders are going to get confused and then they're going to walk out. So unless you're a master storyteller, you're just going to divide the audience and they're going to get frustrated. So just to be safe, pick one lane to start. And after you gain traction and you blow up, then you can consider adding the second audience slowly. So second is psychographics. So this is the big one because it's the motive. So it's important to understand exactly what the viewer is chasing and what they are avoiding. So for a business owner, they're chasing a result. They're avoiding wasted time, wasted money, or wasted effort. They want to know that your way is the shortest path to the outcome. So for an entertainer, they're chasing a feeling. They're avoiding boredom. They don't need a solution. They just need something more interesting than the silence in the room. So for a gamer, it depends on the itch that you're trying to scratch here. But if it's a tutorial, they're chasing mastery. They're avoiding the embarrassment of losing. So if it's high level gameplay, they're chasing the wow factor. They want to see the impossible so that they can feel that they're part of the elite level of the game. So that leads me to the third thing, which is viewing behavior. So you have people who are actively leaning in, so they're giving you their full attention. So the strategy here is that the content needs to be dense, it needs to be fast, no fluff. Then you have the passive lean back people. So the videos on the TV while they're eating, to me, that's an insult, but to you, it may not be. So the strategy here is that it needs to be conversational, it needs to be somewhat cinematic and easy to follow. So broad appeal is a privilege that you earn later. Right now, specificity is the survival strategy. It's what's going to allow you to blow up. This isn't just about uploading videos. This is building a tool that solves a specific problem or fixes a specific mood for a specific person. If you cannot name the exact feeling that the viewer has when they click on your video, then you haven't understood phase one very clearly yet. So once you identify the target, then the ideas start flowing. So that leads me to the next thing, which you get a spark of inspiration. You might grab a whiteboard and then you map out a video that seems brilliant, but be careful, this is the danger zone. So I learned this the hard way. I own three businesses. The products that win for me are the ones that I research based on data. Early on, I tried to launch products that I was inspired by, and I just skipped the research because I thought that passion was enough. Now, sometimes passion does align with the market, it does happen, but most of the time, unless you're intentional at the start, it doesn't. And because I gambled on that alignment without checking, those products failed eventually. And I lost tens of thousands of dollars, but that was the price that I had to pay to learn the hard way. I mean, that taught me what not to do. And I learned how to pick the winners. Did I get it wrong sometimes afterwards? Yes. But I got it right way more times than I got it wrong. That is the difference. So on YouTube, the video is the product. And if a product is made that nobody wants, then nobody's going to buy it. It just sits in the warehouse. And on YouTube, it's the same thing. If nobody clicks and nobody watches, the result is zero views. So we need to execute phase two, the demand check. So you need to run the inspiration through the demand radar across 6 sectors. Sector number 1, internal data. So look at the outliers in your own channel. Did a video pop off because of the topic or because of the format or both? Then you have to move on to sector number 2, which is direct competitors. So what is working for others in the niche this week? Or it could be last month or last year, but the creators that you leverage from should be small creators and the view velocity of their videos has to be currently high. So sector number 3, close adjacent. So take a successful format from a cousin niche and apply it to the topic. Then you have sector number 4, which is far adjacent. Look at the niches that share the mindset as your niche. And then sector number 5, the out of niche. Can a true crime format be applied to a history video? I've seen this succeed recently. I saw a crime series from India do this exact thing where they took that crime series format and they put it to a history video, and it was quite entertaining and it had millions of views. So people are doing these things. Sector number 6, external mainstream. So look at stuff like Survivor or movies or TV shows. So can that format be shrunk down to fit the topic that you're doing? If safety is the goal, then you should validate the topic in sectors number 1 and number 2. If growth is the goal, then import a new format from sectors number 3 through 6. But never ever just guess. The top 1% don't just find ideas randomly, they calculate them. So this brings us to phase number 3, the outlier equation. So this is how it goes. You have the format times the interest topic times the multiplier, and that's going to give you the title or the idea behind it. So first you have to have the format, which is the vessel, like a challenge, maybe a list or a deep dive. And then second is the interest topic. So this is the actual subject matter, like Minecraft or physics or travel. But the leverage is found in the third variable, which is the multiplier. So there are 4 specific types that you need to know to make the formula work. First is the constraint multiplier. So you have to intentionally handicap yourself by removing a vital tool or capping your budget at a single penny or some kind of constraint. The lack of resources here creates an instant tension because the viewer wants to see if you survive that restriction. Second is the superlative multiplier. So you can take like an object to its absolute extreme by finding the biggest or the fastest or visiting the most dangerous. And then third is the time multiplier. You either compress a massive task into 24 hours or some sort of time limit, or you commit to a grind for 100 days straight. So that time pressure is what creates the intensity. And then fourth is the honesty multiplier. So this is for depth. So you must admit to a failure. So reveal a personal struggle or something like you quit a dream job. That raw vulnerability builds trust because people are tired of that perfect highlight reel that a lot of us put on, including myself. Now let's plug these into the equation to see how the pros use them. So let's take Ryan Trahan. So the format is a travel challenge and the topic is America. He then applies a constraint multiplier of a penny. So the calculation is travel challenge times America times a penny. So that is going to give you the idea and the title. I crossed America with a penny. Example number two, which is Veritasium, one of my favorite channels. So the format is a science demo and the topic is a sphere. Then he then applies a superlative multiplier of roundest. So then that equals the calculation, which gives you science demo times sphere times roundest. So world's roundest object. So I call this next part the science of the click. So it is based on three specific psychological glitches. So the negativity bias. So the brain processes fear three times faster. As you can tell in a lot of my videos, I use that. Titles with negative words have a 2.3% higher CTR. Then you have the information gap. So it's a gap between what is known and what is wanted. So it creates a mental itch. And then you have the tangibility effect. So the brain ignores vague concepts. So the rule is replace something like how to get rich with specific numbers like how I made $1,243 in 48 hours. Specificity makes the benefit feel achievable, and people believe you more when you do titles like that. So let me know in the comments if you want 100 of these proven titles for free from all niches and formats. If I get enough interest, I'll post a link. Now let's move on to phase number 4, which is the Greenlight validation. So before you commit 20 hours to filming, you have to be honest about whether you can actually pull it off. And you also need to find your edge. Ask yourself if your version is faster, maybe even if it's cheaper or more detailed, because if it's not, if it's about the same as everyone else, then you should probably move on from that idea right now. I mean, you can do it, but you don't expect big things. Then there's the billboard test. So if a stranger can't understand the entire concept in 3 seconds, it's too complicated for a thumbnail and too complicated for a title. So you have to look at the view ceiling. Is the market big enough for this? Or are you trapping yourself in a tiny room where nobody can find you? And you also have to check Google Trends. You want to ride a wave that's building, not one that's already crashed. Now, I know this sounds like a lot of rules, and you might feel like you're losing your creativity, but that's why the system uses an 80-20 rule. 4 out of every 5 videos follow this exact system. So these are the safe videos that get the views and they grow the business. And then the 5th is different. This is the one that you can ignore the data and just film whatever it is that you find exciting within your niche. This is definitely necessary because passion is how new ideas are found that might work in the future. Who knows? You might hit it big with one of these. But those 4 safe videos are needed to carry the workload so that the risk of the 5th video can be taken. This isn't about being a robot or being so rigid. It's about having a plan that actually works. Luck is not a strategy, and hope is definitely not a business plan. The algorithm is just a machine that responds to a clean signal. Follow this system to get the results. This is how a small channel turns into a real business. Now watch this video to learn how to avoid these 8 mistakes that